to learn. Let me just give you a quick little story from myself and from participating in Venture Cup. Like all other teams that gets to the finals back in 2008, we were super motivated and super enthusiastic, but also slightly awkward, like Tina talked about with these teams that maybe haven't done so much public speaking and maybe they're rather insecure. Well, that was pretty much me back in 2008. And we came into this room, and it's not to scare you, but it's more to say that, you know, failing is really okay. We came into this room and we had all these super cool CEOs, strict, successful entrepreneurs sitting around the table, and they were all staring at you. And back then you had 5 minutes, and it was just like timing, and you could just see the clock going down. And we had timed our presentation down to the second. And my co-founder, he started out, and he did a great job, and then it was my turn. And we've been rehearsing this a million times. And I was also pretty good on my presentation. And then when I stood in front of all of those guys, I just stumbled upon the words, like I couldn't get them out. And everything was timed, so I didn't have time to go back and begin another time. And I asked them, like, can we start over? And it was just straight no. And then you sit there completely red in your face and you think like, oh man, God, everything is messed up now. And we didn't win, of course, like I also told you to begin with. But it was a great experience in fact. And a year later we were venture financed with the company that we participated in the finals with. So yeah, just once again, if you are the type of person where you think like, oh, I'm really not very good at speaking to other people and I get a little nervous and, you know, the butterflies in the stomach when I get up on the podium, but then Venture Cup is still something for you. Maybe it's even more for you, because it's okay to not do a super great job, and it's okay to be a little insecure about some of these things. Yeah, so again, ask me questions whenever you feel like it, and whenever that's something you want to discuss. We will also have a Q&A in the end. To begin with, I was kind of frame setting a little bit on creating the A-team. Kind of outlining what are some of the things that at least I believe you should look for in a co-founder or in new employees that you bring in. But then also back to what Tina talked about, how the hell do you get a hold on these people then? And your question from CBS. How the hell do you get a hold on the skilled people? And today it's a lot about sharing, and it's a lot about contributing. If you are a business guy and you go to DTU to attend the Friday bar here, and you sit down and you grab a hold on an engineer and you say, I have this great idea and you seem like a cool guy and can you be part of this? He would probably say no. You would be like almost 110% sure that he will say no. But if you give and if you show an interest and if you contribute maybe to some of his ideas, there may be already a really good dialogue going on there, a friendship building. And if that happens, again, you build up trust and you are much more likely to actually be able to work with this person in the future. So be patient also sometimes when it is that you look for the great people. Now with social media, I've made a lot of use of that myself, because often these great guys that you need to join the team, basically the people that have skills that you don't have yourself, they are not sitting right next to you. And if they are, you better get a hold of them really quick. But often they are not. So how do you then get them? You get them via social media. There's a couple of things there that I would outline, just basic tools on how I've actually used it. LinkedIn, for example, is hugely underestimated. I was the co-founder of a company called One Calendar some years ago, and back then we were trying to innovate the way students, they received the schedule. So the timetable with their classes and their courses and the lectures and what have you. And there's a whole science between timetabling. We only thought it was a paper that magically falls down from heaven and then you had your timetable. That's not how it works. And in order to get hundreds of thousands of students using the service, we had to kind of understand, so how does a timetable work? And what I did back then was that I went to LinkedIn and I was looking for people that had been employed in companies that were doing timetabling software, but were no longer employed. And these were also international people. And then I basically just wrote them. And I wrote them about the idea, because when you contact people on social media, it might be a little difficult to build a friendship just from the get-go. So actually I was just frank, saying this is what we are looking at. You seem like you have a really cool profile. You obviously have contacts from your time when you worked in this particular company X, and this is exactly what we would like to know more about. Could you be interested in coming and helping us? We also paid people a little bit of money to begin with, but this should not be the main driver. Ideally, you would want to find people that are so passionate about what you do, again, like we talked about in the beginning, that they will do it for free. Yeah, question?
I have a question, because it might be tricky to me. The fact that somebody has very outgoing, friendly and open profile does not mean that when you meet this person will speak up. I know people like this who give different impression via social media than in real life.
Yeah. So of course you gotta be critical as well, but it is one way to address the challenge of finding great people. I can say that for myself, I probably found 12 people on LinkedIn that could have a profile that was fitting the purpose we were looking for, basically a consultant to guide us in the industry. And out of those, I ended up with one after a year. But this guy kicked ass. And he basically led us to partnerships that I would never have been able to do on my own. So try to look for LinkedIn, or try to use LinkedIn to look for people. And it will cost a little money, but it's worth it upgrading that, upgrading your profile so that you can send people messages even if you don't know them. Obviously, you can use Facebook. It's not the greatest media because it's building around friends, but that's also something that's changing a little bit. Twitter, on the other hand, is fantastic. How many of you guys have a Twitter account? Raise the hand. So, well, like 1/3, 1/2. Get a Twitter account. Start tweeting. If you're passionate about your idea, that's one of the greatest places to meet other people that also talk about this. You can retweet some of the things they say, you can ask them questions, you can be humble, and they will start to like you. So you find a shitload of intelligent people on Twitter, and it's very easy to pinpoint where their skill set is. So try to spend some time on Twitter, it's really worth it. There's a couple of other things. I have a co-founder in the company that I'm involved with today. His name is Jakub, and he's a programmer, and he's also much more than that, but he's an insanely skilled programmer. And what he does is that he contributes to different communities and environments. And one of the ways he does that is via Stock Exchange. And let me just show you the service. Do you guys already know what Stock Exchange is? Maybe some of you are already using it. Hands? No? Yeah? Okay.
There's a place called Stack Overflow, which is basically, I guess that's how it started out. It's Stack Exchange developed other stuff in the same categories or in different categories, but I use Stack Overflow for coding questions.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about quickly what this is. Stack Exchange is the broad umbrella definition of this company, but they probably, I think they have more than 50 different websites. And what it's all about is asking questions and answering questions. And if you answer questions, people can give you points for that. And then you increase in value. So let's say that somebody puts a question like, how do I create the perfect A-team for my new company? And then you give an elaborate, good, concrete answer to that. Other people that have earned points themselves are able to give you points for that. So they will like you like on Facebook, they will like your answer, and you get points. Now this is a way to contribute, and it's a way to market your own name. It's also a way to show that you are intelligent in whatever you are trying to do. The thing about Stack Exchange really is that, let me just find all the sites. It's not only about programming, and it's not only about engineering, it's also about photography. Maybe if you are involved with other places like Tina, she might be looking for a really great photographer to do something. You can go here, you can ask the good questions, or you can answer the good questions, and then you can start to meet people. And trust me, these are the really passionate, enthusiastic people you find around. It can also be Stack apps, it can be gaming, it can be programmers, what have you. So go to Stack Exchange look at all the different pages. Stack Overflow is the biggest one for programmers. And then start to engage and start to contribute instead of just expecting that people come to you. So this is a great way to do it. There are also other pages. Probably many of you have heard about Quora. It's the same thing without the gamification where you actually get points. So there you just basically answer. You answer and ask questions. And again, it's also it's a great place to just meet people and network. Any questions on social media and how to try to recruit through these channels? Anything like you didn't get that I was saying, maybe it went a little fast, or is it all clear? Yeah?
Sorry, does Stack Exchange have answers from Quora as well, or is that the competition for Stack Exchange?
I think that would be the competition. I'm actually not completely sure, but you will find many of the same people around that are really passionate and really enthusiastic on helping others and ensuring that they have a knowledge in a particular area. A little quick example also on this is that we are a company looking for other developers. Like Tina said, all technical companies, you want to find developers. Recently, my co-founder Jakob, he committed a little improvement to a special programming ideology or language, basically how you use HTML, and it's called, I think it's called HTML-Py. And he put that up for everyone to share and everyone to look at and use on GitHub. And it was featured in the top, and lots of different programmers, they were really happy about this. They started following him, they admired the work, they thought it was cool. Now, if we look for another developer, it'll be much easier for us to grab a hold on one of these guys that already think he's a super champ and talk to them about coming to us rather than just writing them out of the blue. So it's an idea on contributing and just basically networking today. And you can easily do this even if you are not a developer. A business guy can also ask the good questions. Okay, I have this little fun exercise. I think we will only spend 10 or 15 minutes, that should be enough. But it's a thing that can uncover some of the missing pieces in the team that there may be today, and also a thing and an exercise that can help you to learn more about some of the dangers and threats that there may be in the idea that you have. It's called pre-mortem meeting, and it was invented by, again, this guy, Guy Kawasaki, who's a Silicon Valley venture capitalist. Basically what you need to do is get together with the guy that you are here with. If you're here alone, just come up and I can try to pair people. And what you want to do is to close your eyes, and when you open them again, you pretend that the company you are trying to establish has failed. Sounds a little negative, but get into the mode of you having just failed. Why did you fail? Start listing up all of those things. And the little edge that you can apply here is, maybe you failed because you didn't have the right team, and what people were then missing. So try to get into this mode of you actually having failed, and look at all the reasons for why you failed. When you submit a business plan to Venture Cup, what you often find is a little SWOT analysis, where you look at the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats. Now, the weaknesses and the threats that you will often put in this analysis can actually be derived exactly from this. And if you get into the mode where you've already failed and you are trying to identify why that happens, then these different points that you will eventually put into the SWOT analysis for the business plan will also be much more thorough and understood in a way.